With the Citi Double Cash Card, you get 1% cash back when you buy and 1% as you pay. That's like the joy of discovering the last donut.
Ooh.
And it has your name on it, literally, in chocolate sprinkly things.
No way.
Double the love with the Citi Double Cash Card. Apply now at Citi.com/doublecash.
Don Le Batard.
Deion Sanders is the best to ever do it. I think we've talked to you before briefly. I don't know how. At one point, you had gone public saying you had a sex addiction, right?
Stugotz.
No.
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
Guillermo's Useless Sound Montage is going to be in minutes. How do you feel about it today, Guillermo? Is it a strong batch?
It's okay.
Okay, that's always your answer. We'll get to that in a second. Thank you for all of you who have written in Patino, Petrino, and Paterno to go with Schiano.
Yep.
It's kind of the same game. Please stop writing that in. Thank you.
We got it.
Patino, Paterno, Petrino. Yeah, they've all got no in their name. Yep.
You were looking for. We had covered the no.
Yeah,
you were looking for something else.
That. I was looking for others. Thank you. But then, whatever always makes an appearance. Dick Trickle and Rusty Kuntz. They always make an appearance. They're always there for you. Texter writes in, OMG, you idiots thinking Talib is some sort of special badass. Where does this clownery come from? Because he has a gun? Well, no, it's because everyone in the league fears him, because guys in his own locker room don't mess with him, because it's universally known that Talib is someone who is not to be trifled with, and he told us this story on Highly Questionable about how his grandmother handled disputes.
Man, one time, Cleveland, Ohio, man, I don't remember how old me and my brother was. My mother come home from work, so my Uncle Larry, he got his music cranked up so loud, man. So my mom come home, she the kids got to sleep. They got to go to school, so she arguing with Uncle Larry through the door. So she telling Uncle Larry, don't touch my doorknob. He touched the doorknob. Uh-oh. My mama let him have it through the door. Bam! Touch him in his leg. So he called the police. In 5 minutes, Big Mom was over there. Big Mom told him, I wish you would tell him she shot you. Hey, he just said, all I know is somebody shot me through the door, man. The stories get deep. You have to edit out all that.
He didn't know. He suddenly didn't know who shot him through the door.
He don't know who shot him through the door, but it came right out my mama's house. That's what he told me. Because Big Mom was right there.
Yeah, so like family shootouts, they just kind of happen. Occasionally with you guys.
It might go there, man, back in that's back in them hood days, man.
Oh, no. So your uncle all of a sudden developed amnesia.
He got amnesia when Big Mom pulled up.
Such a good sentence.
Yes.
He got amnesia when Big Mama pulled up. Also, when someone gets shot in the leg, this would be, in my life, a catastrophe of the highest order. Touched his leg. Mama touched his leg. That's why I know he's bad.
All you need to know is Marshawn Lynch walked him off the field.
So cool.
Arm over the shoulder.
Yes. Let's go.
So cool.
I love this. Marshawn Lynch no longer cares about football. He quit. He told you. I love, though, that he's taking public transportation to the games, and all he's doing is preventing fights. Friends on the other teams or family from fighting his teammates.
Yes. Defended someone on another team.
That's twice.
Got kicked out, and then watched the rest of the game with fans.
Marshawn Lynch leads the league in defending his friends on the other team, or defending his team from his friends on the other team.
Against division rivals.
No, it's like Zach Randolph. It's like one of Zach Randolph's pool cue wielding buddies that will beat you if the price of the weed is wrong. Allegedly.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that guy's on another team. The guy who will beat you with a pool cue. Marshawn Lynch is the guy who will beat you with a pool cue. And it's like everyone knows it. And there was a time, Charles Haley, as you know, there are a lot of stories about Charles Haley. And Charles Haley had what seemed to be some chemical issues that he's come to grips with over brain chemistry stuff. And some of the stories about Charles Haley are wild in that he'd lose a game and he'd be sobbing in front of his locker and none of his teammates could help him. And they had to go to the other locker room to get Steve Young, who had just won the game, to come over and soothe him. Marshawn Lynch is like this Tony Dungy character, ambassador to the hood, right? Because he's just got these guys. He is so Oakland.
An ambassador.
Yeah, an ambassador. Ambassador. I think that's what. I think wasn't. What was the name of the? Hugh Douglas. Wasn't Hugh Douglas the Philadelphia Eagles badassador? And then he got knocked out in the whirlpool by Terrell Owens. I may have the details on that story wrong. Anyway,
yeah.
Here's the NFL Useless Sound Montage.
All right. Hugh Douglas.
All right. Obviously, another disappointing loss. These are 60-minute ball games, and they're not 30 minutes. They're not 45 minutes. They're 60-minute games.
Yeah, we have to take one game at a time. Coach speak, obviously.
Don't bury us quite yet, Bick.
We just got to do a better job of, understanding what teams are doing against us, because that's what teams do against us.
No, I don't think, they're professionals. We all are. It's, I don't really buy into the buy-in part of that.
We're not interested in stats here, so we're interested in W's.
I just continue to work on being the best me that I can be every day. I go to sleep every night knowing I've done everything I can to be the best person, best husband, best friend, best teammate, best player that I can be. And, I sleep pretty good conscience.
As I always say, I always hear often there was an ugly win, but I never heard of such thing that makes sense, the saying of a pretty loss.
I think we just continue to go out there and play, try to win every week. That's what we do every week. Go out there, try to win every week, and, let the chips fall where they may. We don't look at that big picture stuff till it's all said and done. We just go out there and play and try and win.
You have to treat these last few games of the season like they're one-game seasons.
Yeah, you took a hat off to them, and they did a great job.
Hats off to them. They did an excellent job on defense today.
Hats off to those guys.
You just say hats off to him. He's a special player.
One that we're definitely going to hang our hat on.
I think that ball was going where it was going.
Much like I tell the players, I've been through a lot of seasons in this league, and there's a lot of seasons, in life.
The defense played a great job.
Anytime you can beat an Andy Reid coach football team, that's saying something.
There's a big difference between 7-4 and 8-3, I think.
One guy leads the league in rushing. I think the other guy leads the league in receiving. Our quarterback's our quarterback.
At the end of the day, it comes down to blocking and tackling and throwing and catching and finishing.
Anytime as a quarterback, you want to play well and throw it to your guys, and we did that a heck of a lot today.
I hope when we are winning, which we will here someday, that we get all the calls. There's a bunch of people that owe us some stuff when the time comes.
It just sucks, bro. I don't know. It sucks.
You can't have enough Ryan Kerrigan's on your team.
What did you think of your offense overall?
Wasn't very good.
He made a lot of little plays in the game, and he made a lot of big plays in the game as well.
We are where we are, but I like where we're trending.
The only way to fix most things in football is to sprinkle a little hard work on it.
Yeah, you're okay with all play calls when they're successful.
Yes, that was a head scratcher. I've never seen that one done before.
No, obviously it's a good, that's a good football team we're facing now. It's not like we're playing against the air.
It's just another game, another bunch of guys. To me, there's no special sauce.
One thing I'm proud of them about is we fight. We don't always do everything perfectly, but we work at it.
It's always good to run the ball. It's good to throw. It's good to score points.
We got yelled at. We're not allowed to talk about celebrations. That's what we got told, but I kind of want to talk about it. But I kind of don't, because I'll get in trouble. So I don't know what to do.
The first thought that the historic first thought that Gronk has ever had, measuring consequences. It's ladies and gentlemen, we were all there to witness the first thought that Rob Gronkowski has ever put together.
Sound of the day is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. Upgrade the shaving with a fresh blade whenever you want for a fraction of the price. Join DollarShaveClub.com today. I live at this point for John Fox's voice on a Monday.
What I was just going to say is, Guillermo, you are a musician who needs to go on tour with these things because you're making music. John Fox's voice, when it makes an appearance chewing on gravel, made me laugh every time because I knew that what was going to come out of his mouth after he stopped chewing those pebbles were the words of a loser. And it felt like music. Like, it felt like dancing, really. I'm like, there's that voice, and now he's going to say something losery. Get down.
Now to the good stuff.
I've been through a lot of seasons.
I want to play.
Life has a lot of seasons.
Play it again right now. That was like a good song. I want that song stuck in my head, and I want the refrain to either be John Fox or Hugh Jackson telling us we ain't been perfect. You've never been perfect. The Browns again are going to give us this 0-16 parade.
Amazing.
They got to go to San Diego next week.
But people
Los
owe
Angeles.
the Browns when they start winning, Dan. People owe them.
Yeah.
According to Hugh Jackson.
Calls.
Don Le Batard.
There is nothing that I could say about anything that you, the culture around sports radio, will not find a way to argue with.
Stugotz.
That's not true. That's not true. That's not true. I'm sure you can find something that I won't argue about. Stop being so stupid. Yeah. Short-sighted.
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
Guillermo, put it on the poll, please. Did Mike Greenberg wake up at 6 a.m. to listen to Wingo and Golick, or Golick and Wingo, whatever order it is that they're doing that in?
I think it's Golick and Wingo, and there is no doubt he woke up at 6 a.m. I would say even like 5:50 a.m., made a little breakfast, a little pregame, and then watched the show. Yeah, he was up.
Yeah, there was an English muffin there.
Yep, no doubt. A little cup of coffee.
Grapefruit, cottage cheese. I was just watching on television, and this is the space that we're allowed to reside in as a sports content community. Are you ready? Because it made me laugh out loud. First take, the question that just came on the screen. And this is the space that we're allowed to reside in. I'm going to tell you all in the audience a dirty secret, okay? In terms of content here at ESPN and everywhere in sports content. So don't tell anybody this, okay? But when First Take puts up the question, have NFL celebrations gone too far? That's the other extreme of the space, the very small space we're allowed to reside in. And on the other side of the spectrum is just castigating celebrations that are a little too outlandish. Or on this side you've got celebrations that are a little too outlandish, and on that side you've got what, Stugotz? What do you have? The antiseptic league. That's the no fun league.
Correct.
That's the spectrum.
Scrub the league of any sort of fun. Yeah, it's weird. It's an interesting topic today on a day where there's so much to talk about.
Have NFL celebrations gone too far? Philadelphia Eagles really love their celebrations. Winning seems fun. Winning seems like a lot of fun.
I wasn't expecting an entire sideline to come onto the field and do an electric
mauling
slide.
Everybody makes John Fox sound that way. You know what's terrible is when you get this loser coach reputation, because that's really what foiled Schiano. When you have this, John Fox he's been at it long enough that we're willing to say, I'm not excited about his hire. Loser.
I mean, if John Gruden, Nick Saban, any of the big coaches had the same exact stories in their past as Greg Schiano, not a single Tennessee fan would object to him being hired.
John Gruden needs to stay out forever for that reason. You come back, you're going to get some of that loser scent on you.
Yes.
Like Jim Harbaugh has on him now.
Absolutely, yeah.
As a Browns fan, every time I hear Hugh Jackson speak, I'm just like, shut up. Shut up. Stop talking.
0-11, headed to Los Angeles. We're going to have in play again our ability to raise funds for a parade in Cleveland. They're going to be headed toward 0-16 again. If we're having fun here, Tennessee needs to hire Lane Kiffin. Let's go.
Yep.
Let's go full circle on this coach worship nonsense. Yeah, the last time you left, we burned mattresses. Welcome back, coach. You're the hot new thing again.
He tweeted about it about 25 minutes ago as Tennessee again finds itself being engulfed in flames. Lane Kiffin waits by his phone. Not waiting at all. Getting this team ready to win its 9th straight against a great North Texas team. Come to the championship here in Boca
Raton.
He's a great Twitter follow.
He is awesome.
I just love that he's gone through the spin cycle and he gets to still be hot new thing.
Yes.
Lane Kiffin.
Yep. He's gone all the way through, though, man. I mean, he's at FIU, Dan.
But what I love here is McDermott at 31.
FAU.
Or FAU, excuse me.
McDermott's 31 years old. He's running the Rams. this guy's got a chance to break Shula's record or beat John Fox at the end 30 years from now.
I would love a time lapse where he becomes
I don't know, where it's a very exciting time. He's the 31-year-old coach of the Rams could break Don Shula's record for victories in the NFL. He's only got 8 right now. And
That's
Jeff
an achievement.
Fisher's just sitting there going,
But he's
man,
tracking,
I did
man.
that.
Yeah.
I can do that.
Jeff Fisher got 4 contract extensions putting up this season McVay's had so far.
What I'm telling you about McVay is that if he stays there long enough, he's going to go through these turbulent streaks. McVay 10 years from now might be the hot new thing again after like 4 years of losing if Goff gets hurt.
Would you rather Lane Kiffin at Tennessee or at Florida State? Because, I mean, trouble awaits at Florida State for Lane Kiffin.
I love this time lapse that you have working of McVay turning into Fox.
Well, I'm willing to follow Stugotz's path here of like an NCAA investigator in the huddle for FSU. Lane's going to be there tomorrow, right? He's going to be on the show with us tomorrow, Lane Kiffin?
Tomorrow, 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time.
But do you guys not find any of that stuff funny? The idea of Schiano is probably okay. If Schiano gets another shot somewhere, he's got a chance at having success because...
Of course. I mean, Belichick didn't have success his first go-around, and now he's the greatest coach ever.
I'm just saying, like, this is such silliness, this thing that we do. How did the Rams get it that right? How did they find a 31-year-old person who is willing to throw late against Sean Payton, who onside kicked in a Super Bowl because he's not afraid of anybody? Like, how did the Rams... Sean McVay must make Jeff Fisher feel so bad about himself.
Well, did they get it right, or did the guy choosing the players get it right with Gurley and Goff?
No, it's not just them, though. It's their left tackle is a monster.
He's new.
Whitworth?
Yeah, Whitworth's new.
Aaron Donald, right?
Aaron Donald's totally unblockable.
Give it time on McVay. Time is a flat circle.
No.
Yeah. You either die a McVay or you live long enough to find yourself a John Fox.
Don Batard.
What I do with Karate Kid is I have it on TiVo constantly. It's just sitting there, and what I do, Dan, I've isolated it to the final scene, to the Valley Championships. I just watch that.
Stugotz.
Sprint through that, gets me goosebumps, I get all psyched up, and then I go face the day. Do you do that?
No.
Sweep the leg, you don't know?
No.
Oh.
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Guest on the Dan Le Batard Show appear via the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Here's your SportsCenter update. Monday Night Football tonight. The 4-6 Texans head to Baltimore to take on the 5-5 Ravens. 8:30 on ESPN. The University of Tennessee has backed out of a memorandum of understanding with Ohio State defensive coordinator Greg Schiano to be the Volunteers' next football coach, sources told ESPN's Chris Lowe. And finally, an Arkansas couple that frequents Olive Garden will be naming their daughter Olive Garden. A spokesperson for Olive Garden says they have sent a little surprise to the expecting parents and plan to send more food and gifts when Olivia arrives. Weird. For all the latest headlines and information, tune in the SportsCenter on ESPN Radio all throughout the day.
What are you shaking your head about, Guillermo? What happened?
You messed that read up.
I did mess it up, and then I just lashed out and said it's weird because I was mad at myself, and I lashed out at the parents for doing that to their poor daughter.
You did it 2 different ways. Just move along. No one noticed.
Yep. Dan didn't notice, thankfully.
Do you guys want to find me? A bunch of people saying here, I know that the coach of the Rams is Sean McVay. We called him McBay because he's beautiful. McBay, B-A-E. But people are wanting to find me, and I know that McDermott is the coach of the Bills, and I was making the point that McDermott is the guy who gave us the Nathan Peterman experiment.
Right.
A lot of people here, a lot of buzzards in our audience who want me fined for calling someone the wrong name.
It's overwhelming, man, and they're mad at me for not pointing it out, and I don't know what to do here.
Nathan Peterman experiment sounds like a bad prog rock band.
Yes. It also sounds like a bad horror movie, doesn't it?
Put it on the poll. Bad prog rock band or bad horror movie.
That's fine. Put it on the poll.
Nathan Peterman
right.
experiment.
The Nathan Peterman experiment. Speaking of weird experiments, the Derrick Rose situation, I don't know that I have a precedent quite for what it is that we're witnessing in the NBA, where the guy was the MVP of the league.
Yep.
And now he's taking a leave of absence from the Cavs. I know a lot of you are going to say that he's weird or weak or soft. I think when you're living with physical pain, the money helps with painkillers. But like when you're dealing with physical pain, when it hurts to do something,
right,
it's something that can be really life-altering. Now, maybe he is just a little off. Maybe he's...
well, it can be, right? It can be both, right? But I think, Dan, not just living with a physical pain, it's knowing how great you could have been, right? There's some mental stuff going on there as well. Like, wow, I was the MVP. Everyone was talking about me. Like, I'm next. I'm the next guy in the NBA, and now I can't do that anymore.
If you were there, if you were in his position, because I know a lot of people are looking at this and saying, this guy's made a lot of money. But if you were in Derrick Rose's position,
right,
your body hurt, and he is said to be reevaluating his future. So basically, you're being introspective, and what you're looking at, if you're Derrick Rose and being honest and self-aware, is, oh, my body has betrayed me.
Yes.
My body is not going to cooperate. I'm never going to be that again. I'm not going to overcome odds. I'm not going to be those sports stories. My knees hurt. All the time I play, and my knees hurt. And now everything else is breaking around it.
Right. And if I can't be that guy again, then what's the point in playing?
Do I want to be a guy playing in Cleveland for $1 million a year?
Right. Man, I'd hold on to it for as long as I can, though. Even with the pain, the physical pain, the money certainly helps. I'm not saying it gets him over everything, but it definitely helps. And he's young. I just try to play that sport. He still loves the sport. Never going to be that great again. I try to latch on to it for as long as I could.
But hold on with the love. Because now it hurts. Now it physically hurts to do.
Right.
That becomes when something now either physically or emotionally hurts to do, even if it's a relationship, love can get conquered by that. If it's just something that you can't bear, and you might be right that it can be the mental thing of, how about this? It's terrible to be broke, but worse than broke is being rich than broke. And Derrick Rose was rich at basketball, and now he's broke. And so I think that's what's happening here, where he's like, oh, man, well, for what? To average 12 points a game for 10 years in the league?
Right.
When I used to be the MVP?
Yes.
Like, I understand what you're saying, but that's not the mountaintop he's coming down from.
No, I'm just trying to process. Like, I'm trying to think if that happened to me, if I'd be able to say, because I'm kind of flippantly saying just latch onto it for as long as you can. And I don't know if I could.
We'd all like to be a starter for 10 years in the league or on the bench, relevant, famous, sports in our life, young.
Right. But this was a guy that was supposed to be one of the all-time greats.
He's got to feel so physically old. Is he even 30 yet?
It's an interesting recalibration he would have to do, because we've seen great players age gracefully and end up on teams where they're not really a part of their plans. Like, look at what Vince Carter's going through. He was a physical specimen, but he lost his athleticism.
Not at 29.
Not at 29. No. That's the point that I was getting to. You're asking a lot for this dude to recalibrate, because if I'm using my expectations of what I think Derrick Rose is, I look at his box scores. I think he's having a pretty good year. I'm saying, what's the big deal? And he's probably saying to himself, I was MVP of the league yesterday.
You can recalibrate that at 40. You're right. It's a good point.
Yes.
Vince Carter can do all the math, and it's like, of course, my body can't do. But if you're 29 and your body just keeps betraying you, now you throw pain into the mix.
Well, forget about 29. It's been betraying him since he was like 27.
Right. Well, it's got to physically hurt. And then this is what I was telling you last week about Westbrook's game, how poorly it's going to age, because he's been in the league for a long time, and that you can't out-athlete everybody for 15 years. That's not how it works. Michael Jordan at the end wasn't out-athleting everybody.
You said the same about Wade, right? Middle of his career?
Yeah, that it's not going to age well. It's going to be hard to watch age. And your Derrick Rose is like got what is that ailment I've seen like at amusement parks? What is the name of that disease where kids look old? They age 7 years for every 1 year. I feel like Derrick Rose's body has aged at a disproportionate rate to he's just broken. He's physically broken, and now it sounds like he's mentally broken. If he's leaving the team in the middle of the season, a team that, was struggling.
You're talking about progeria, where you appear older than you actually are?
Yes. You just
what
age.
That movie Jack was
I don't
based
think
on?
you appear older than you actually are.
You actually age as well.
You age, and then and I believe they die early, too.
Yeah.
What a horrible analogy by me.
It was. And you also said you've seen it at amusement parks. That's kind of weird.
Yeah,
I know where you were going with that, but amusement parks was not the right word.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. No, you know what?
Sorry.
No, it's an important correction, and I appreciate it. I didn't finish the thought. I gave you a partial thought, and so now you... All right, let's recap here what just happened. Because there's someone in our audience right now thinking to themselves, wait a minute, I can go to an amusement park where they have kids that age differently than the rest of us and look older than they should? And that's clearly not what I meant.
How would business be doing at this awful amusement park?
Should I be laughing?
No. Well, you're laughing at me. We're not laughing.
Okay,
we are not laughing at the illness. You're laughing at me and my incompetence.
I'm trying to invoke Jack just because I feel like that's a safer movie to laugh at, even though it was sad.
When's the last time you went to an amusement park? Like, if you've been to an amusement park in 20 years, I'd be shocked.
Hold on. Slow your roll. I need to correct what just happened here before you go and pull the show back to Wacky Land.
Well, corrected already. I mean,
good name for a park, Wacky Land.
Not this theme park that Dan was talking about.
Right.
When was the last time I was in an amusement park? That's a good question.
You want to correct this? Or
Yes, I want to correct this. The reason...
Yeah, it should prioritize.
For some reason, the only time that I've seen anyone with this disease, a disease, the name I always forget, and I have to search for, just like we did.
Progeria.
Mm-hmm. Is on little news packages of kids who are at an amusement park enjoying things as kids, and they look like old people. And so that was the thought that was in my head that I did not complete on a terrible analogy. Admittedly, all failures everywhere.
Don Batard.
Blink 192.
Stugotz.
Miko.
That's a fine.
Oh, Blink 182. Oh, bleep it. Do I get fined for that?
Yes, you do.
Yes, you get fined.
I thought they were names of people, not
just
bands.
Names in general. I mean, come on, man.
Blink 192.
I know, I made it 192. That's funny.
You put this in place, man. You know what? I still owe $1 from last week.
Well, wait a minute.
No,
from last week.
Hold on.
That should be more than $1, Dan.
This is the Don Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
Right now on First Take, Kyle Long, I'm not here to watch celebrations. Have celebrations gone too far? And now the Eagles are doing the electric slide, all of them on the field together.
I love it. They're feeling pretty good about themselves. And they should.
I'm curious, Stugotz. You saw that the ratings on pregame shows are way down, NFL pregame shows way down.
Yep.
When is someone going to change up that format on NFL pregame shows where we're doing something other than Jim Brown and Boomer Esiason and Phil Simms tossing a football up in the air in the promos and pointing at the camera?
Right. To be fair, they're down everywhere. They're down here as well.
Oh yeah, I'm not recusing us. I was watching the CBS. Their show is mustier than most.
Correct. The one that's actually up slightly is the NFL Network. I shouldn't even say slightly. It's up from last year. And
well, they have fun. Those people have fun.
Rich Eisen has fun. They definitely are having more fun. Deion Sanders, Michael Irvin, those guys are having fun.
They have personality.
Yes.
Also, to be more fair, that's not all they do on CBS. They do more than just toss a football up in the air.
Yeah, they make predictions. I don't know why it is. Why? I mean, I know that the CBS network is considered old-fashioned. It is your father's television network. Is that Les Moonves, or is there some sort of edict at CBS? Hey guys, we're trying to skew old. Let's get Bill Cowher in there. For wacky edginess, let's get the brown Tony Gonzalez, even though he wasn't really known as a television personality. Same reason that beer commercial about family or whatever it is has Tony Gonzalez, because he's the brown guy that we're going to go grab on stuff like that. The CBS pregame show feels older, does it not?
I think CBS just feels older.
Right, but
in general.
Is that an edict? Is that
they have the oldest viewer demographic in all of network television? They certainly skew older, and the advertisers cater to that older demographic.
So what's happening with the CBS pregame show? You're going to get some reluctance from the CBS fan, the person who enjoys CBS. You're going to get some reluctance if you throw a live wire type of show on like the NFL Network.
Yeah, I think so, because it's not on brand.
Because it's got to be prediction. It's got to be what they got from Brent Musburger and Jimmy the Greek with Spartan graphics back in the day.
I can tell you this, that CBS Sports Net, I think, so that's the 24-hour CBS Sports television station, they have a different pregame show. And I've watched it a couple of times. I'm not saying it's great. I'm just saying it's better than what they're putting on CBS. It's more fun. They're taking chances.
I don't even mean to make this a criticism of CBS's pregame shows more than pregame shows in general, which I don't like.
Yes, but I think at the heart of it, you're asking specifically why is that. When it comes to that network, they have a brand that they like to stick to. It's why there's 17 NCIS shows.
All right, well, they should go ahead and just put plastic on all the furniture then at the NFL pregame show. Just put all the furniture, cover it in plastic. Because I'm watching that yesterday, and I watch very little of it. And I'm like, how are we still doing it this way? This can't be interesting to people. It can't be, let's go around the table and think, let's find out what Coach X thinks about this team, and nothing he says is going to end up mattering when you start watching the game. Not a thing.
I'm kind of saddened by it because we've had this discussion for years on our show, and I used to tell you that I loved pregame shows. Just, I don't care what they're saying. It doesn't matter what they're saying. That's how I get ready for football with a pregame show, but, man, you're right, because I can't watch them anymore. I'm struggling to watch them anymore.
But the reason I brought up the ad is because I'm like, really? Guys in suits tossing a football up in the air. That's still how we're promoting the pregame show.
Mm-hmm.
It's Phil Simms and Boomer Esiason tossing a football up in the air and, like, preening for the camera.
It's also, for me, it's not terribly relatable. It's you have players who think they know more than people who are sitting at home, and they certainly do about playing actual football. But what's going to happen in the actual games coming up, no one knows. And so that, it's kind of bothersome to me. I wouldn't mind seeing, 4 people just sit around and talk football.
Yeah. Well, it always comes back to how does Stugotz get the job.
Yeah.
We always end up there. It doesn't. Stugotz's formula for everything, to solve everything, is just put him there.
It'll work. I'll make it work, man. I make things work. That's what I do. Yeah, I make things work.
Just get me 3 people. I'll sit there, and I didn't realize. I didn't realize you were job interviewing right there. Anyone within the sound of your voice, I'm available to rejuvenate your pregame show.
I'm not saying just me, and I'm not saying you would want to do this, but I'd love, if you told me Dan Lebitard and Pablo Torre and Sarah Spain and Bomani Jones we're going to sit around and do a pregame show while being completely angry and totally jealous that I'm not there. It's something I would watch.
Oh, I thought you were going to throw yourself in there as a moderator or something.
That's, you know what, now you just figured out a place for me. So I'm in. So it's me, you, Bomani, Sarah, Pablo. I'm in on that.
I love Stugotz.
Mina.
Stugotz checked all the boxes on his diversity pregame, didn't he?
Yeah.
Stugotz went bang, 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 bang. That was amazing the way he did that.
Give me a little Foxworth and, of course, me.
There, on behalf of white people.
Me.
Stugotz.
A lot of people out there want you fined because you called James Brown Jim, but the audience doesn't know that you call him Jim. You're good personal friends with him.
Yes.
Shoring it up.
Known him for years.
Texter writes in here, you guys really do fetishize Talib. A weird player, dirty, crummy guy, ripped another man's chain and ran away. Least impressive thing you can do as an adult.
He did it twice. That's impressive.
So he has 2 of Crabtree's chains.
Well, no, I don't think he got the second one. It was just on the floor.
He tried to do that again.
Yes. This guy wrote crummy as if Talib is covered in crumbs. He's a crummy person. That's Andy Reid.
Well, how do you write it?
That's me. So, how about this? This happened in a football game this weekend. You remember we were talking about Baker Mayfield? He made the gesture. His teammates came out with his jersey like he was dead instead of just that he grabbed his junk. Like he was dead. Like I thought since the controversy, Baker Mayfield had died, because why would they carry his jersey out to the captaincy? But did you see that the Flowers kid who plays for South Florida didn't just grab his junk, but pantomimed pleasure to completion? And nobody cares. Nobody cares because he's not as famous as Baker Mayfield. He scored a touchdown and then finished all over the UCF student section.